Hello, my name is Katie Parker, and this is episode 1 of the It's Okay to Talk podcast in collaboration with Papyrus UK. I would like to introduce my guest for this podcast.
Hello, my name's Cameron Hudson. I've been struggling with mental health for the past 2 years.
Can you give me a brief description of your history with mental health?
It started around March of 2023. I sent a message to a girl and she sent it round the entire high school, so I felt really low and hated myself. And then from there it just got worse and piled on until it almost caved in.
So what year was this?
From around 2023.
So year 10.
Yeah, around then.
Did you, speak to friends about it or, family or anyone like that? Or did you when it first happened, did you keep the situation to yourself?
I mean, it was pretty hard to keep the situation, what happened, by myself. But with my thoughts, I kept them really to myself and bottled them up into a little ball in my head and tried to stay away from them, but they kept coming back.
Did you, reach out to a charity or maybe a YouTube channel that spoke about it or anything like that, or did you get advice from someone else for you to do it?
Not really, no. As I said, I just kept to myself really and tried to fight it on my own. And then when I realised it's kind of turning worse, I couldn't fight it anymore. Then I finally reached out.
Who did you reach out to? Was it someone from the NHS?
It was my father who fully noticed. Both my parents noticed, but my father almost locked me in a room and basically told me that I had to say something. Why am I feeling this down? And then it was that night that I finally started to get help. I think the next day we got an an appointment with a GP to talk about it. And since then I've been blood results, and then I'm now on medication.
Did you feel pressured to not pressured and also a bit uneasy speaking to someone about it, considering you kept it to yourself for a long time?
Absolutely, yeah. Because how I thought it in my head was, I felt like I was being a burden on them. That my problem should be my problems and mine alone. And they've already got a lot going on, so I thought there's no point in me adding to that. So it was just, I felt weird talking about it because it's not really a conversation not many people have.
Did you feel better when you did speak to someone, like you said? You spoke to your dad about it, and then he said to go to your GP, and then when you talked to your GP about it, did it eventually feel better for you?
Yeah, because I felt like I have a direction now to get support and help. Instead of a wonky road, it's now a straight path of help.
And you said that, you spoke to your GP and you got on medication. What kind of medication?
I'm currently on repeatable fluoxetine, which I take 1 a day in the morning.
Does it have any negative side effects?
Well, with all antidepressants, they all come with depression, which is kind of the reason why I'm taking them. And it is kind of pointless, but also it has helped me keep motivated to do my college work and be around. So I'd say it really does help. But
so
also,
you've seen an improvement?
I've seen an improvement in some ways. In other ways, I still have these little episodes throughout the night where I'm just down low. But I have seen many improvements.
Did it start off I know for some medication you start taking them and you just feel low, and then did it do that and then it got better the more you kept taking them?
How my GP said was it would take a month to fully kick in, and you might feel low in that way past that month, through that month. So throughout that month I did feel a little bit worse, but then it got better. Yeah.
If someone who is watching is, because people can be afraid to take medication because they've read into the side effects and they're scared, oh, what if I get all of them, and what if it makes me worse or anything like that? Did you read the side effects and feel like that?
Not really, no. I didn't really look into that many side effects because it was to help me. So if I wasn't if I wasn't meant to be on them, I wouldn't take them. So it was meant to be there to help me, and I just kept on taking them.
So is that advice you give to someone? Like, you know, they will make you feel better. It may seem scary at first.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah, absolutely. It'll be very scary at first, but then you just have to push through, and throughout that month, you got to make sure you're close to your family and friends, and make sure they know that you could be feeling low, and get the help and support while you're low, or contact Papyrus themselves to make sure that you can feel better for that month.
Well, yeah, as you've just said, you take medication, but you also need to rely on, like, those around you. So family, friends, maybe it's like, you know, classmates or workmates even. So do you feel like they have a really big impact as well?
Absolutely, because as I said, it's a fight that I thought I could take on my own until it almost took me. So having people around that like uplifting me, like making sure that I feel okay and happy and laughing all the time, I feel like it really does support you.
And is there anything else that helps? So you have medication, you have people around you, but do you have any hobbies that, like, you turn to whenever you're starting to feel an episode coming on?
Well, I try and distract myself as much as I can. So, like, I've got a deck of playing cards. I like shuffling. I listen to a lot of music, and I try and go out for walks as well to try and distract me from all these voices, and like just distract myself from feeling my way. So, like, say, go for a walk, or listen to music, or speak to a friend, or play some games, anything to distract yourself away from it.
And I know from, like, my own experiences, but other people's experiences, that when, you know, you're diagnosed with a mental health problem, it kind of feels like, you know, it's all you are. So it's like what you identify with. Do you still feel like that?
In a way, maybe, but for me, I feel like I try and play it off in social situations to make sure that it's not me. But when I'm at home in my room on my own, it basically is me with like depression. But in social situations, I try and like around with my mates, I try and like make jokes or put it off and distract myself to try and make it like seem like I'm okay.
So you kind of like mask it.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, coping mechanisms are different for everyone? Do you think that's healthy for you, or?
In the short run, I'd say it would be healthy because it distracts your mind, and you know you become happier. But in the long term, it doesn't help, because at some point that mask will fall off. You know that with a mask, it will break, it will fall, and it'll make it worse. So at some point, you will have to notice that you are needing support, and you should get it.
So, we've spoken about, you know, events on how it started, medication, like things like that, coping. Was there a point, or is there still a point, where, you know, you ever felt like you just couldn't deal with it anymore?
Yeah, I feel like it's always been in the back of my mind, like, feeling that way, and I've never really thought about going through with it because I don't want to like have my family and friends be affected by it. That's the only reason why it stopped me from going. But other than that, as I said, it's been in the back of my mind the entire time. You know, it's like it's an easy way out, or like it's an excuse to say that you're feeling low as well. But I felt like at some points when I was at my lowest, I felt like it wasn't an option. It felt like it was the only way that could happen. So as I said, it's always been at the back of my mind, and it still is all the time. And just knowing that there's a way out, I'm feeling that way as well.
So you said that, you know, you never went through with it because of your family. Were there any other, you know, aspects that stopped you?
It was really that. That was really the only reason. I had no other thoughts about what. It's just family and friends, really. Like, in my head, because like I just hated myself a lot. I felt like I had no real future, so it feels like I should just take my own life, because it felt like there was nothing for me going other than my family and friends.
So I know you've obviously spoke about it here, but have you ever, after, you felt that way, did you ever go to a professional or one of your close friends and talk about it?
It started with my close friends. I was at a party and I was telling my mate Ethan about it. But other than that, I'm currently in the process of getting like counselling through the college. I've got an appointment next Thursday, so I'm hoping that'll go well. And that's the only professional I thought about. Obviously, with the GP, they gave me a number for this type of thing, but they said it'd be easier to go through college. So I went through college back in November, and I'm now trying to get this appointment ready and be able to carry on with the counselling.
Have you ever had an appointment with the college before?
Not really, no.
Was it easy to, like, converse with them over making an appointment and go to them for help? And did you feel like, you were accepted with what you were talking about?
It's never easy talking about stuff like this. So it was always hard and anxious to always talk about this, especially with people that I've never really met. But I felt it felt like I had to, so I had to push through these boundaries I set myself to get these appointments ready and make sure that the college knows that I'm wanting help. But as I said, it's never easy to talk about a situation like this. So it's just pushing past that to get the support you need.
If anyone watching, is in the same situation where they're at college or they're at a big corporate job which has people who can help and can provide counselling, would you suggest to them that they should look into that?
As I said, it is a struggle to start talking about sort of mental health, but it is support. It is what you need to be able to live properly and suppress these thoughts enough. So I'd say obviously go for it and make sure that you feel comfortable with whoever you're talking with. And with that support, you can, thrive in society again. You can be yourself and help yourself more.
So we've covered, a lot of topics. But if you had to, give any young person watching around our age, so 17, 18-year-olds, if they're in college or if they're at work, and I understand that, as you go older, you feel as if you shouldn't really speak to people because, I know for me, because as I've gotten older, I haven't really been, a priority within, the path that I've gone down. But would you say to them, just ignore what people say about, you won't be seen, you won't be a priority, because that does happen, but just ignore what people say and just focus on if you feel as if you need help to get through this, as most people do, even if they don't want to admit it? Would you push for them to speak to people, to go to charities such as Papyrus to do all this?
Yeah, obviously, because it's the support that you need. You need this support because it's a fight that you can't really handle anymore. So, yes, you have to ignore the people that are telling you that you're not going to be seen, because you are. It is their job to make sure that you felt like you're being seen and you need the support. It's their duty as employers and employees and as people, humans themselves, that it's their job to help support you and your mental health issues. So they have to see you at all times.
If you or anyone you know have been struggling with the issues spoken about in this podcast or any similar issues, please feel free to contact Papyrus or call the Hope line at 0800 068 4141. Thank you.